When it comes to a basic camp setup, there are 3 things that need to be considered. Something to sleep under, something to sleep in, and of course, something to sleep on. While there's essentially an endless variety of brands and models to choose from, this is basically what you're going to be limited to: a hammock, a self-inflating Thermarest sleep pad, a foam Thermarest accordion style sleep pad, and an inflatable insulated sleep pad. The question is, which is for you? Leave us a comment. Now, when it comes to a hot, buggy, humid environment, it's absolutely impossible to beat a hammock. Now, as long as you have a huge variety of trees to choose from, a hammock is going to be the way to go. The land could be unlevel, steep, rocky, covered in thorns, but it really doesn't even matter because I am peacefully suspended off of the ground in my hammock, off of the wet, buggy floor. It's really hard to beat the hammock in those types of conditions. See all that space underneath me right there? That is fantastic for drying out when you are all nasty and wet. However, it has the exact opposite effect when it's cold and windy outside, because what essentially happens is I lay down on this hammock, and it doesn't matter how warm my sleeping bag is that I have. It could be a -50 sleeping bag and it's only 30 degrees outside. But if I'm compressing that insulation, that lofty insulation with my body against that sleeping bag, and there's even the slightest bit of air movement, slight of a breeze, that convection is going to carry away my body's warmth on my backside, and I'm going to freeze my tuchus off. Colder than 2 koalas outside their mama's pouch. In man's infinite wisdom, he has created the underquilt, essentially a sleeping bag that goes underneath the hammock, therefore not compressing the insulation of that sleeping bag, and therefore maintaining its R value and keeping us as snug as a summertime snake in a serape. But maybe you're not interested in dangling like a meat sack for the next hungry grizzly bear that comes through the neighborhood. Maybe you're a more terrestrial type creature and prefer to sleep on the ground. This, my friends, is a semi-self-inflating Thermarest. An older one for sure, given to me by a buddy. I say semi-inflating because you typically have to give it a little bit of help. But you're breathing in there moisture and bacteria from your mouth. What's growing inside of this thing eventually? Ugh, who even knows, man? But it has a pretty durable outside layer right there, which would help keep it from being punctured by anything that is found on the ground, like thorns and sticks and briars and who knows what else might be lurking underneath us. So, if you're looking for the coziest night's sleep, this is probably not it. It's a fairly thin sleep pad. While yes, it does insulate you from the ground underneath you, and it does help keep you warm, it's not nearly as efficient as a much thicker sleep pad. And this thing, in comparison to all of the others that I have on me, the other sleep systems, the other ground pads, things to sleep on, this is the heaviest and the bulkiest of all of them. So while it may be a little bit more durable as far as inflatables go, it definitely is heavier, more bulky, and not nearly as comfortable of a night's sleep. And when it's time to put it away, it does take a minute, a little bit of effort to get all that air out of there so you're not taking up your entire pack with just one piece of kit. When it comes to ease of setup and reliability, you're not going to beat the foam accordion style sleep pad. Spread it out, flop down, camp made. Now, as far as comfort and R value in cold weather conditions, this one's probably going to be the least effective. However, it will always work. It will always work no matter what. You could stab a hole through it. And it matters not. It will not affect the insulation, the comfort whatsoever. And when you're ready to break camp, you just fold the thing up, strap it to the outside of your pack, and you're on your way. Now, yes, it is a bit bulky, but it is the lightest of all of our options. Now, last but certainly not least is the Insulated Inflatable Sleep Pad. This one happens to be by Big Agnes, and it gives you an incredibly comfortable night's sleep, warm and cozy. It does not matter how cold it has gotten outside. Every time I have laid down to sleep on this thing, it has been wonderful, except for one time. A big disadvantage to a sleep pad such as this one is that you have to really be cautious. You have to clear the ground of anything and everything that might poke through that insulating barrier that you are so grateful to have and destroy it, essentially. Even a holly leaf like this that's really sharp and pokey could essentially end your night's sleep. So you've got to be really meticulous. You got to get in there and inspect every little thing and make sure that nothing is going to be poking through your sleep pad. This is also the most expensive of all of our options right here. This sleep pad costs about $150, give or take. Now, because of its fragility, it's oftentimes necessary to have some sort of ground sheet, a protective barrier underneath it to keep it from getting punctured. This is just a simple piece of Tyvek. Not only does it act as a protective barrier, it's also a moisture barrier. And then, in addition to the sleep pad, you also have an inflator bag. So an additional piece of kit that has to come along with your sleep pad. And while it is the most comfortable of the ground sleep pads, it is also the slowest to set up and to take down. Sleep pads such as this one does come with a patch kit because most likely, eventually, you're gonna need it. Another awesome thing about this setup is the inflator bag can also double as a dry bag. This is where I keep my sleeping bag when I'm carrying this system right here. And that is fantastic because it's multi-use, multi-purpose. And like I said before, you're not gonna get a better sleep on the ground than on a sleep pad such as this one right here. This inflatable insulated sleep pad has a mylar lining in here that's gonna reflect your body heat back to you. Doesn't matter how cold and icy, I've literally slept on ice with this thing right here, and I've never felt the cold. Except for one night when I was sleeping in the back of my truck, and I woke up on the cold, hard steel of the bed of my truck, freezing my butt off. The floor of that truck was harder than two hombres hiking the Himalayas. This one's also going to take you a minute to get the air out of it. This is the one that went flat and left me cold laying on the bed of my truck. I have yet to fix it. So which one's for you? A hammock, easy to set up, lightweight, small, compact, reliable. I've only had one hammock fail me before. It split down the middle actually while I was laying in it and I ended up on the ground. But other than that, they're pretty dang reliable. I've had this one for at least 10 years and it has not let me down, and it was only $40. So for hot summertime conditions, a hammock, like I said before, is pretty dang hard to beat. As long as you live in a place with ample trees. I've definitely been camping in places before where the trees were not available, and I intended on hammock camping, and then now suddenly I'm sleeping on the ground, which is less than ideal. Do you want the reliability of the Accordion style foam Thermarest sleep pad. This thing never lets you down. It always works. No matter what, it will always work. Is it the best? Is it the softest? Is it the warmest? Absolutely not, but it will never let you down. The more robust, heavier, thicker, bulkier Thermarest self-inflating type sleep pad right here, while yes, it is more durable, it is definitely hefty, probably the heftiest of all of the sleep options here, and definitely quite bulky, and can fail you if it should get a puncture. Or the fancy, most expensive, insulated, inflatable, but most cozy sleep pad right here from Big Agnes. The reliability, it has let me down before. And do I want to have to worry about having to bring a extra ground barrier such as that Tyvek? And do I want to have to bring an inflating bag and a patch kit and all of those types of things along with me? The more and more I camp, the more and more nights that I spend outside, I lean towards reliability, things that will always work. And these are essentially the two options that I go with the most. Warm, hot summer nights, I sleep in this simple hammock right here from Grand Trunk. And in the colder months of the year, I typically go to something like this right here because I know it's going to work. Is it big and bulky? Absolutely, but it's so light and it will never let you down. Friends, I'd love to hear what you think about this in the comments section. Let me know what your go-to sleep on system is. What do you prefer? What have you had the most luck with? I'd really appreciate those in the comments section. Make sure you're hitting the thumbs up, subscribing if you haven't done so already. Lots of ways to support the channel and get involved in everything on 3 in the comment section and in the description of this video. And until next time, what's the worst that could happen? Let's just go on 3.